Ladies and gentlemen, former President Donald Trump will likely be convicted in the D.C. interference case, likely also in New York as well, possibly in Fulton County, and I don't think anything's going to happen aside from an acquittal or mistrial in Florida. He had the power to declassify. Okay, it's obviously political. They're going after him because Hunter, Joe, others actually did commit crimes. That's why we had 51 intelligence officials come out through Twitter 3 years ago saying it was a disinformation campaign from another country to let you know how criminal and how depraved the information in that laptop was. So when there's obvious graft and bribery, it's always a plot by another country to let you know that Democrats were engaged in such activity. But with Trump, they're going after him, and that's why his poll numbers are up. So you have to ask yourself, if you think it's complete nonsense that Trump wasn't innocent and they're just going after him, why are his poll numbers up over mashed potato brains? Why? If there's a morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrat stumbling upon this segment, why are Trump's poll numbers above Biden's? Hit subscribe to this channel right now, ladies and gentlemen. I'll have a segment in about 3 hours and then another one later this evening. Watch the channel throughout the day. I will start having live streams later this month. I want to give you about 4 articles showing you exactly why the Supreme Court will eventually overturn Trump's conviction. Okay? He's being convicted in D.C. and New York almost certainly because these are venues where Democrats control the political and oftentimes the legal outcomes of cases, which is why the Supreme Court overturned a 2016 conviction of Virginia's governor. Okay, Jack Smith lost that one as well. So I want to just show you this. AP fact check. Trump's call to action distorted in debate. Trump did not have a call for action is subjective. And it's always subjective when it's the Democrats. So we'll see a CNN article about one specific Democrat asking people to get in the faces of Trump supporters. Okay, apparently that was purely subjective. There's no legal ramifications for the Democrat. And there are millions of examples of Democrats making very egregious statements. Just recently, the word eliminated was used in relation to the former president by a Democratic congressman. Okay, I don't think he didn't break the law, but here, this is an example right here of how Orwellian our media has become. He used the words, this is true, peaceful and patriotic. The facts, Trump's speech was a call to action, a call to fight and save the country. No, it was not. How on earth can the Associated Press come up with a fact check that's purely subjective? It was a viewpoint that he was cheated. He is allowed to convey that viewpoint under the First Amendment. He did not in any way state that people have to do anything physical or criminal. Okay, our country has had enough. It can be taken in many different ways. Democrats have stated far worse pertaining to Trump's America. We will not take it anymore. To use this favorite term, we'll stop the you-know-what. Okay, they've accused the Kremlin of giving the presidency to Trump for, 7 years now. I know everyone will be soon marching peacefully and patriotically, but throughout the remarks, Trump spoke for the need to fight. He obviously meant fight politically and not physically. So again, this is completely distorted by, and this is an editor's note, a look at the veracity of claims by political individuals. So this is an example of the truly Orwellian nature of our media right now. It's a fact check pertaining to sensibilities. It's a fact check on one's sensibilities, not on what Trump said. The fact check admits that Trump used the words peacefully and patriotically. Now, here's an example of somebody who didn't use the words peaceful and patriotic. This is why he'll be why any conviction will be overturned by the Supreme Court. Maxine Waters encourages supporters to harass Trump's administration officials. She actually stated, literally giving instructions. Let's make sure whenever they show up, and if you see anybody in a department store, gasoline station, you get out and create a crowd and you push back on them. It's unbelievable. You get out and create a crowd. Okay? Whenever they're at a restaurant or a department store, these are specific instructions. These are specific instructions. Okay? And it's unbelievable. I mean, you cannot get away with this. It's things like these words, and of course, like doesn't explain to you that the cages were built under President Obama's tenure, but here. So again, then she's saying to disown friends and family. So it's like, it's really unbelievable. There's one statement about getting in people's faces. And so you have a situation where you have Democrats actually giving specific instructions on how to harass individuals. Yet that's okay. Trump did not give specific instructions. Furthermore, although it has been put in a separate political speech has received the greatest protection. The court has stated that the ability to criticize the government and government officials is central to the meaning of the First Amendment. Trump also has the right to criticize his own government. Sorry, end of story. Trump gets overturned. The conviction gets overturned. He used the word peaceful and patriotic. He meant peacefully. He meant through political endeavors, not through physical criminality. And the California Democrat, that's just one example. Go to restaurants, if you see anywhere in the gas station, literally, quote unquote, create a crowd is what the Congresswoman stated, giving instructions on creating a dangerous venue or, situation. Then you have here, ACLU commends Supreme Court decision to protect free speech in case defining true problems. Here you have the law being if a reasonable person would perceive the words as reasonable people have not perceived, we know this, Trump's words, because he's up in the polls. He's literally up over Biden in the polls, having been indicted 4 different times. So the question is why? It has nothing to do with a cult of personality. Democrats just they're grasping at straws, and they have to find some way to explain Trump's popularity. The reality is that everyone knows Democratic prosecutors are prosecutors who happen to be, or judges who happen to be, or staffers or clerks who happen to give donations to Democrats. Democrats in cities or regions of the country that are heavily blue or liberal are going after Trump. It's 2024. Now, you would think that they'd wait until 2025, or they would have gone after him in 2022. But it's 2024. We're going into 2024, and it's happening because of November of 2024. We know this. This is not rocket science. Now, they're going to have to convince the Supreme Court has 3 liberal justices, okay? And 6 conservative justices. Kavanaugh and Barrett and Thomas and Alito and Gorsuch knowing very well that Democrats are going after Trump. Roberts is, who knows where he stands on anything, but even Roberts knows it's purely political likely, okay? They're going, Jack Smith is going to have to convince, and the indictment does not list the exculpatory evidence, that he's going to have to convince a jury and a judge, which he probably already has, that Trump tried to overthrow and foment a rebellion and that his words caused people to commit crimes. His words pale in comparison to Democrats who have stated specific instructions on how to commit crimes. Number one. Number two, he used the words peaceful and patriotic. The AP fact check, which is completely a joke and absurd, did not address that within the context that he was stating. He said peacefully and patriotically, and he said when he used the words fight back, he meant in terms of a political sentiment, not physicality. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. All of this will be overturned by the Supreme Court. Give me your thoughts. Hit subscribe! To read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, other publications, go to hagoodman.com. My Patreon and super thanks is below. Thank you. Be here in about 3 hours.